Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm doing another character deck video, and it is a long overdue deck profile of my Pegasus character deck. Recently especially, this has been getting a lot of attention, so it really has been due for me to actually do the video on it. But I kind of wanted to be in the right headspace to do it, and something kept getting in the way. Like, for example, one evening I was dead set on doing it, and then I remembered I'd completely forgotten my friend's wedding was the next day, so that kind of distracted me. But anyway, today we're finally going to get into this. This is a Pegasus character deck. It basically focuses on the original Duel Monsters series, but I do intend to have the GX side deck in case I ever want to play this against GX. I never remember to actually pull the cards together. So at the moment, it's just Toon Kingdom and Toon Mask. And then obviously we'll chuck in like Yugioh Golem, stuff like that. None of the cards that came later are involved, of course, because this is a Duel Monsters series deck. So nothing like Toon Harpy Lady, Toon Blackluster Soldier, anything like that. None of that's included. And there are a few rules for our character decks, which will flash up on screen now. But the basic idea is we try and stick to as anime accuracy as closely as possible. One copy of every card, only stuff they actually used in the anime. There is a little bit of leeway there, here and there, depending on, the situation. And every deck can use the draw package of Card of Sanctity with the anime effect Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity. Ritual monsters go in the extra deck because they just kind of appeared out of nowhere in the anime. And I think that's more or less it. So yeah, we'll get into this one. So first of all, Pegasus's extra deck. We've got the one copy of Relinquished, of course. It's actually a really good card. I completely forgot until recently that it's actually also Magic Cylinder. I feel like a lot of games would have gone differently if Tom hadn't suddenly started bringing that up. He just suddenly goes, oh, this is a Magic Cylinder as well, isn't it? And he reads it, and I'm like, oh yeah. We've definitely not been playing that correctly. Really, really cool card. Obviously, really, really nice to have Relinquished. We've also just recently made a few changes to put back in Bickery Box. I literally just added more cards to the deck rather than taking stuff out. We wanted Bickery Box back in the deck, so yeah, he's got another chance to shine. And the only other card in the extra deck, of course, is Thousand Eyes Restrict. Really cool card again, really cool boss monster, but it can kind of catch you out sometimes. And it's not necessarily always the best solution to things, but it is funny, and that kind of is the whole thing in the anime. Like, that's kind of the whole thing with Thousand Eyes Restrict. You have to, you have to play around its negative effects. So into the main deck, we have the, well, first of all, really, we should go for the vanilla two tribute monsters. So first of all, we have Ryuran. This really should be cut, but I love Ryuran. And the thing is, it's really stupid, but you can cost down this to reduce its level by 2. You can discard this and then bring it back. There are ways to cheat this guy out, and ultimately I love Ryuran, so I want to play it in the deck. I can accept that it's completely impractical, but I want to play it, and we've had a few fun moments where he has turned up. So yeah, next we're into the effect. 2 tribute monsters. Of course, we've got Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. What is there to be said? It's Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. Really, really cool guy. And hopefully one day we'll get a holo version of him. Well, next we have Manga Ryuran, of course. Again, kind of impractical. You kind of would want to drop this, but again, you got the exact same arguments for Ryuran, but this also treats itself as a special summon, whereas Blue Eyes Toon Dragon has to be tribute summoned. So if you have a monster out, you could set something tribute both from Manga Ryuran and just have like a wall or whatever. So it is kind of useful in that regard. And again, I just want to use him. So yeah, he's getting used. Next, we have the 1 tribute vanilla monsters. First of all, we have Illusionist Faceless Mage. This is a recent addition, but we've been having some fun with this, so that's pretty cool. Again, I would probably drop this, but like I say, it's been a laugh. And we'll get into why he's recently been added in a moment. And next up, we have Parrot Dragon, which again, I did drop, but I mean, the whole point of this deck is fun, wacky characters. I wanted to use Parrot Dragon, so I put him back in, and that is literally the only reasoning to it. But we have been admiring recently the usefulness in this character deck format of just a 1 tribute beta. Like, this is only 2k, but in a lot of situations, that'll see you through for now. If you tribute first, it doesn't matter whether it's 2k or whether it's 2.5. As long as it's bigger than your opponent's monster, it'll sort you out. Next, we have the 1 tribute effect monsters. We have the Toon Summon Skull. If I could tell you how many bundles I've seen ultra rare ones of this in recently that I haven't won, Oh man, I could absolutely lose my mind, but it is this astonishingly expensive card. But yeah, Toon Summon Skull, really cool. He is what he is. You know, again, really cool. One tribute, 2/5. You know, you can't really go wrong with that. And next up, we have the Toon Dark Magician Girl. Arguably the best card in the deck. Treats its tribute summon as a special summon. It can attack the turn it's summoned. Arguably the most usable card in the deck. And again, she's a 2k beta, so she gives Parrot Dragon some credit as well. You know, if you're going Toon Table of Contents, this is a good target for it most of the time because, you know, if you can normal summon something, you contribute it in a Dark Magician Girl, and then, you know, you can just swing away with her or whatever. Like, you know, she's pretty cool in a very rigid deck that, generally speaking, can't attack the turn it's summoned, or, you know, needs to be tribute summoned or whatever. She is surprisingly, you know, flexible. She is very useful. Next, we have the vanilla no tribute. We have Dark Rabbit. We have Toon Alligator. We have Red Archery Girl. And we have the Thousand Eyes Idol. There's some fun stuff with this I will get into later as well. But yeah, again, nothing really out of the ordinary there. Again, you could drop the Red Archery Girl, but why wouldn't you want two different mermaids in your deck? That's what I want to know. Next, we're into the Toon monsters. So first of all, we've got Toon Cannon Soldier. It can be quite fun to just bump this guy off for 500, or, you know, if you're just in a situation where you're like, right, well, you know, I can't get through your board, so we'll just start throwing stuff at you. Yeah, Toon Cannon Soldier is pretty cool. You can summon this one without controlling Toon World, but if Toon World is destroyed, he still dies. We've also got Toon Goblin Attack Force. I have a really funny 2-card combo with that I'm not being able to pull off. Again, you can normal summon this without Toon World, making it very useful. Next, we have Toon Mass Sorcerer. Draws cards, what can you say? Really need a original version of it though. And finally, we have Toon Gemini Elf. Honestly, I could count on my Gemini Elves how many times I've actually used this effect. But again, really cool beat stick. Again, it can't attack the turn. It's normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned. And if Toon World's destroyed, it dies. But you don't need to control Toon World to use it. And if it hits your opponent, they discard a card. So that's pretty cool. Next, we have Toon Mermaid. She special summons herself. Really, really good, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like they didn't design this right when the game was first starting, because that just doesn't seem right for the early game. Next, we have the clowns for Bickery Box. We've got Grass Clown, Dream Clown. Every now and then you might be able to pick something off with one of these effects. There was a game recently where I was planning to bounce something with Grass Clown, but unfortunately I died before I got around to doing it. But yeah, I just wanted these guys back in the deck, so they went back in the deck. If I wanted to cut cards again, probably just drop these straight away. But yeah, it's always fun to have the clowns around. Next up, we have Sonic Bird. This is just to search that Black Illusion ritual. I thought it was more fun and more Pegasus-y than like using Senju or Manju, so, you know, I thought it was probably fair enough. Plus, it was in the SDP starter deck, but I haven't been able to find one yet. I will have SDP ones somewhere, I just haven't come across them. Next, we have Jigen Bakudan. I didn't play this for the longest time, and I actually have won a game because of this, because of Thousand Eyes Restrict. I couldn't get past my opponent's board, but nothing could attack because of Thousand Eyes Restrict. So I just sat and waited with Jigen Bakudan. I actually had Ryu Ran on the field as well, actually, and I just flipped him and then just, you know, waited in, blew everything up, won the game. It was pretty cool. So yeah, very weird card. Very, very unlikely to come off, but I have done it, so, you know. And next we have Dark Eyes Illusionist. Theoretically, a really good card. Flip, select a monster, can't attack. In reality, you don't really get that far. You know, it's one of them flip effects where, you know, you kind of have to actually flip summon it. If you do flip summon it, it has 0 attack. And it's, you know, most of the time, it's actually just going to get attacked into. But, you know, it's nice to have the option. It's 2 Pegasus C of a card to not use. So, yeah. And we have Flying Elephant on the end, just as a little beat stick. This, in this context, is a vanilla because it had no effect in the anime apart from to somehow game lost Bandit Keith. But yeah, into the spell and trap cards. First of all, we have Toon World. Picked this up recently, was so happy with this. Came into locals and some Magic player was like offering out his Yu-Gi-Oh stuff to us guys because he knew we played. And he just happened to have a first edition super rare Magic Ruler Toon World in his pile of stuff. So yeah, that was really cool. We got some awesome stuff off that guy, to be honest with you. So very happy with that. Next, we got 3 Toon Table of Contents. We allow this at 3 because the Toon mechanic is inherently clunky. You know, if you don't have the Toon World, you're pretty screwed. You know, it just helps to sort of get the monsters as well. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to use this to get to your Toon World. And then, you know, maybe some other copies for some monsters later on. But honestly, it's not really unbalanced in this context, even though we try to stick to 1 copy. Because, I mean, it's Toons. They all have to wait. Like, what rush are you going to be in where this card can, like, 3 copies is going to overwhelm you, you know? So yeah, we just we kind of let Pegasus go ahead and do that. Next we got Mimicat. It is what it is. It's a great card. One thing that was really cool using the anime effect of this was that a friend of mine used Gandora earlier on in the game, and then I realized I could mimic at it with Gandora, and he's reading it and he's like, oh, you can't special summon it, but this actually just becomes a copy of it. So yeah, you know, we gamed him with his own Gandora. It's pretty cool. Next we have the equally rare Eye of Illusion. This is why Illusionist Faceless Mage has been recently added, of course. We've had a bit of trouble kind of deciding what the anime effect of this is, but we know it damn well isn't any of these. It's definitely not all 3 of them anyway. And one thing that's very interesting is that, of course, you know, Illusionist Faceless Mage isn't the only target. We also have Toon Dark Magician Girl, which is pretty funny. It's also pretty funny when your opponent uses, what's it called? Magical Circle? What's it called? You know, the trap that makes you special summon a card and you actually have loads of targets. We also have Dark Eyes Illusionist. We'll also have Toon Gemini Elf, Toon Mask Sorcerer, and of course, Thousand Eyes Idol. As well as, of course, Thousand Eyes Restrict and Relinquish themselves. So, you know damn well that the 2-card combo that's going to be there all the time is normal summon Thousand Eyes Idol, set Eye of Illusion. It's been a very welcome addition to the deck. Very cool to get that. Very cool to finally see it printed in the TCG, to be quite frank. Next up, we have Black Illusion Ritual. It's Korean because I got a bundle of super rare Korean cards like this Heavy Storm. You know, Black Illusion Ritual speaks for itself. Then we're into some staples. We've got Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Premature Burial, Polymerization. You know, we don't say that every deck can use these, but they are staples. You know, it's stuff you did use that are staples. Next up, we have Fissure. Doesn't have a lot of monster removal options, so Fissure it kind of has to be. Next we have Double Spell. Really, really useful card sometimes. We've got Cost Down. Honestly, so good in this format. Like, it's like, you never remembered Cost Down being good when you were a kid, but as it turns out, it's actually really useful. You know, you can get that Dark Magician Girl down to level 4, or, you know, you can bring your Manga Ran down, your Ran down, your Toon Summon Skull down, you know, whatever you need. Next we have Snatch Steal. And then we're into the Draw package, Card of Sanctity, Graceful Charity, and Pot of Greed. And finally, we're into the trap cards. Now, Pegasus's trap lineup is terrible, don't get me wrong. So this is what we're rocking. We've got Toon Defense. Card sucks. There is one time I used its effect so that I lost the game. I don't really remember the context, but basically my opponent attacked me and I was like, Toon Defense, make it a direct attack, I lose. They were going to beat me some other way, so I just Toon Defense myself instead. Yeah, really not a good card, but you don't have a lot of trap options anyway. Gorgon's Eye, really bad card, but there is a play for this. It's like every time I think there might actually be a use for this, it doesn't come off. But Gorgon's Eye, here's the play. We've got the Toon Goblin Attack Force. We attack with the Toon Goblin Attack Force. It goes to defense position. During our next turn, we activate the Gorgon's Eye. So our defense position monsters have their effects negated. So we turn Toon Goblin Attack Force to attack mode and attack with him. This, of course, means it has to survive your opponent's turn in defense mode. And, of course, is just really, really ridiculous anyway. But it's something you can use Gorgon Eye for. Next, we have Solemn Judgment. You're gonna. If you can, you're gonna, you know. The only, like, decent Toon trap card is Toon Mask. Or at least the only decent Toon trap card we can use in this context. This is really good. It's a special summon a Toon with the same level as your opponent's monster. A lot of utility in that, you know, whether they've got a boss monster out or something like that. Again, another reason for Ryu-Ran is that, you know, if they have a level 7 instead of a level 8, you could get a Ryu-Ran instead of Blue Eyes Toon. But it's also very useful to just get a body on board if they just have small dudes, or if you need a tribute or something like that. So yeah, very, very good card. And the last thing, obviously the best trap card in the deck, apart from maybe Solemn Judgment, Ultimate Offering. Really, really good card. But in this context, it's not really that helpful. The best use for it really is to stack your tribute fodder onto the field so that you contribute into your big Toon monsters. That really is more or less it. And speaking of more or less it, that is the deck. So as I say, I have been meaning to bring together the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX side deck for that. And there might be a bit of change to this deck as we go along, but I don't think I'll change much because honestly, most of the cards in the deck I just like and I just want to play them. But that is everything for this video. So if you did enjoy it, please do check out the Character Decks playlist in the end screen. And in my channel, in the DSW Tabletop playlist, etc., I have more Yu-Gi-Oh videos if you'd like to check those out. I really do appreciate you joining me, so thank you all for watching, and goodbye.